Hello, hello, and welcome back to Martinis and Bikinis. I am your hostess, Veronica Droulia, and welcome to season 3 of the show. I am so excited to jumpstart this season with some incredible guests that I had the honor of interviewing while I was out in LA a couple weeks ago. I feel like I was able to get on some people that I have admired for what seems like forever, and who better to kick off the new season than Siff Haider. Siff seriously does it all. She is the co-founder of an insanely successful natural supplement startup called Arrae with her husband Nish. You guys have probably seen their bloat supplements all over TikTok. I am obsessed with their products, so is my mother, but especially bloat because it subsides all of your symptoms in less than an hour, and it actually works. You guys know I love to wine and dine myself, so these are essential to bring with me on the go. Besides Arrae, Siff has her own personal brand where she posts about fashion. I swear she always looks so expensive, business tips, and health and wellness. She also has a podcast on the Dear Media Network called the Dream Bigger Podcast, where she dishes out all of her insider secrets on business and health. She is seriously such a doer, and I swear I learned so much by having her on the show. So get ready to learn more about jumpstarting your own product-based brand, making your first hires, going viral on TikTok, skincare secrets, and so much more. So without further ado, please welcome Siff Haider to Martinis and Bikinis. Hello, and welcome to Martinis and Bikinis, the podcast for everything under the sun. I am your hostess, Veronica Droulia, and I am here to help you navigate your 20s through all things lifestyle, beauty, and fashion. So, if you're ready, let's dive into today's episode. Okay, so we have Lady Puff right here.
Yes.
By the way, my mom is obsessed with this.
Stop. I love that. I love the moms of Arrae.
My mom is hooked. She has every single product, and she calls me daily to talk about Arrae.
I want
She
to
calls
be
us
friends
her
with your
skinny
mom.
water.
Okay, that's iconic. I feel like we need to use her for an ad or something.
Oh my gosh, she would love that. She would love that. I'll have to get a video of her.
Yeah, 100%. I want to hear about her skinny water. That's iconic.
She's like, Veronica, do I drink my skinny water first thing in the morning or right after a meal?
I love that. Oh
my God. I know. So she's dying to know the answer to that. Does she drink it in the morning right when she wakes up or before a meal or after a meal?
So we have Lady Puff, which is what you're holding, and then there's Gut Boost, okay? So Lady Puff was a limited time drop. It sold out really quickly. So when we say limited time, it really does mean limited time. So if people who have that, they can take it in the morning. They can really take it any time, but I like to take it in the morning because it really kickstarts your digestion. And Gut Boost, which is another kind of skinny water, okay? So if your mom hasn't tried that, let me know. I'm going to send it to you to just give it to her. But
she's going to freak.
This one's really good. So it has a blood orange flavor because we wanted it to taste like Aperol, and you take it before a meal because it helps. Basically, it's a combination of different bitter herbs, which gets your normal digestive system going. It stimulates your own digestive enzymes. So it your saliva goes. So it means that your body is ready to receive food. It also helps with satiety, curbing cravings, just ensuring that you're eating the right amount and not overeating. So
okay, I'm obsessed. This is this girl, hot girl drink of the summer.
100%.
I love that. I've heard so much.
With lots of ice,
Yes. I've heard so much about bitters just being super helpful for digestion.
Yeah, it's really good. And in fact, if people go see a naturopathic doctor or someone in digestive health in general, like a care practitioner or whatever, one of the first things they'll be told to do is add bitters to their diet. And so all you have to do is with any sort of bitters, whether it's ours or another one that someone gets, you just put it into your water before you have your meal. And what it does is the bitter herbs essentially just prime your digestive system. So think of it as a makeup primer, but for your digestion.
I love that.
Yeah.
Just gonna pour it in. How's that?
Yeah, that's a lot. That's
too
good.
much. Is that too much?
No, that's good. Yeah,
okay.
That's good.
We're good.
Yeah. Skinny water time.
Skinny water. Well, cheers. I'm so excited to have you on.
I'm so excited to be here.
Siff, welcome to Martinis and Bikinis.
I love this. I love that you have martini glasses. See, the Aperol vibe.
I love it.
Right?
That is delicious.
Thank you.
I also feel for some reason, putting things that aren't alcoholic into martini glasses or coupes.
It makes it so chic.
It just romanticizes it a little bit.
I agree. I love it.
So I like to start these off with something I like to call the roots.
Okay.
So I just want to know more about you. where you're from, maybe some things people don't know about you, or just how you got to where you are today. So feel free to start from
I'm like the
wherever.
internet's overshare. So I'm like, do people not know anything about me? And so I'm like, what? Like, I'm going to pick carefully. Okay. So so I think something that people may find interesting is, I think when people see someone who is quote unquote successful, not that I'm saying that I am successful, I think there's a long way to go, but wherever I am in my career journey, right? Someone might look at someone like myself or someone similar being like, oh, they're just here. And they think that success is a very linear path, when really what I like to remind people is that my journey in my 20s was very non-linear. I went to school for something completely different to what I'm doing right now. I was doing pre-law in school. Then I changed, I basically changed my mind about what I wanted to do with my career many times over, and then I landed here. So I guess the big takeaway from like my career trajectory is that if you're in your 20s and you're putting pressure on yourself to have it all figured out, I don't think that that's the right thing to do, because I promise you nobody has it figured out. But what I really like to do is take clues from everything that happens in your life. So when I was in college, I was doing pre-law subjects, but what I really loved was like creative things. So I was the head of our residence social committee, right? Doing all the events for our residents. And then from there, I was like, okay, I think I want to get into PR. And then from PR, I was like, no, what I really like to do is to write. And then I started to write for Elle. And then, you know what I mean? So like I always took little hints and honed in on that. And somehow I ended up with my own business along the way. But yeah, I would say like that's something that's interesting about me, probably.
Absolutely. I know this is the most LA question of all time. What's your sign?
I'm a Leo.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, what are you?
I'm a Capricorn.
Love that.
Yeah, love that for us.
Yes.
But no, I feel like that definitely makes sense, because I think whenever you have the idea to do something and actually follow through with it, it takes a specific type of person to be able to do those
absolutely.
things. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think like it's interesting because we, like Nish, who's my husband and co-founder, we talk about like the makings of a good entrepreneur. And it's like, you have to be delusional, but at the same time, you have to have like really excellent follow through, because you can't sit there with like your dreams and just like do nothing about them,
Yeah, absolutely. So tell me more about Arrae. So for those that might not know what Arrae is, I think just like a general idea of what you guys are doing would be great for the audience. But I love the products. My mom loves the products. There's bloat, there's constipation, there's heartburn, there's guts. Like there's so many different like health situations that you guys cater to. And I was reading about you and just about your story with Arrae and how you were struggling with health issues of your own. And it just kind of sparked this idea for this business. And I'd love to hear more just about the early beginnings and what got you to start Arrae and what it is.
So essentially, Arrae is like, we're a company that does 100% natural targeted supplements. And the idea is for them to work very quickly. So the idea for Arrae was really sparked because I'd struggled with my health, as you just said, for essentially my whole life. So I was constantly on this like hamster wheel of getting sick, taking antibiotics, getting better, to the point where in my early 20s, I ended up fracturing a rib from a chronic cough, which is insane. You think that happens to your grandma. Like, I don't even think it happened to my grandma. You know?
I haven't heard about that happening to people. That's crazy.
So I was just like, my immune system was essentially in shambles, and it had been for years, and I just never really built it up. But the thing was that when I went to my doctor when that happened, I was prescribed codeine and sent home. Like, there was really no plan. I was like, well, what can I do to ensure something like this doesn't happen again? She was like, don't worry about it. Here, take some codeine, go home. I was like, okay, well, this is not the answer I was hoping for. So at that point, I was someone who was very like, I just didn't really believe in holistic anything, if I'm being honest. But I was like, I've been doing one thing for years, which is taking antibiotics and like running to the doctor and like anytime anything goes wrong. And it's not taken me to a point where like I'm healthy as like a 22, 23-year-old. And so I was like, okay, like let me look at what this holistic world is, even though at that point I didn't believe in it. I was just desperate to try something new. Right. And so that's kind of how I got into it. I just started to do as much research as I could, and I became my own guinea pig. And then from there, things started to work. My immune system started to heal. And then I was like, I wonder if I can take certain things to help with my digestion or to help with anxiety or like any of these like myriad of issues that we deal with on a day-to-day basis. And then I became obviously like in my friends group, the person that people would go to whenever they needed a recommendation for what they should take for XYZ. And one day, this is like years down the line, I was sitting on the couch with Nish and I was like, Nish, like I see these like solutions for skincare problems, and the world of supplements and just wellness is so convoluted and it's so complicated and it's so ugly. And, I really think that like we can do something about it. And he's like, okay, like let's do it. And so that was really the idea for Arrae. And the goal was really to find solutions for like very targeted issues that were people would essentially go either for over-the-counter solutions like chemically laden products, which they didn't necessarily need to do because there were solutions that we could create that were really, really effective with herbs, minerals, and vitamins, and also to make it really chic. So the parallel I like to draw is the skincare industry. So if you go to Sephora and you're dealing with, I don't know, like a breakout or dark circles or hyperpigmentation, as a consumer that there's products out there. They're like easy to navigate. It says like, for acne or for dark circles or hyperpigmentation, like it's very like solution oriented. It's also expertly formulated and it's really beautiful. So you actually want to use this product, not just tuck it away and forget about it. It's been very ritualized. So that was really the idea and the experience that we wanted to bring to Arrae. So we launched the brand with Bloat and Calm. Bloat is like really our best seller. It's what we're known for. And essentially what it does is it mitigates any digestive discomfort in under an hour. So you take it and you feel better right away. And Calm we did as well because digestion and anxiety are like very intrinsically linked. And so we wanted a holistic solution. And then from there, we started to release products, honestly, based on what people were struggling with most. And we noticed that with women specifically, digestive health in general was a concern. So things like being constipated or having heartburn, and like people didn't want to settle for like gross like Miralax vibes. Like you don't want that, like you want something chic. And so we wanted to present better for you solutions that were also like really beautiful. So
your branding is just so aesthetic.
Thank you.
Beautiful. And I'm sure you're so tired of hearing the word aesthetic because you probably get told that all the time about your brand.
No, honestly, like tell me all day long. Like I love to hear it. Like
please.
I'm like, this is what been my life's mission. Like tell me more, please.
Yeah, but I can honestly vouch for all of the products, but especially Calm, because I'm really good friends with Claire, who's on your team. And we were just having a content day and we took some Calm with us. And this was hilarious. It was actually me and our other friend, Lily. We went to the airport and we wanted to get like some travel content. And we literally went back to the airport because we were like, oh my gosh, we forgot to take pictures and videos, whatever. And we took Calm with us. And
wait, was it Calm? I think it was Sleep.
It was Sleep.
That's what you took. Sleep. I remember because Claire told me and we were dying.
I took like 3 or 4 of them. I was on the escalator and I just like wanted to like have some like B-roll of me taking Arrae. And I immediately went back an hour later and just was knocked out. Like I was just like in the middle of the day taking Sleep. And
Claire told me and I was like, oh my God.
Like, what did she do? But it really does work. And I think it's so great that you've created these natural remedies to just things that people deal with on a day-to-day basis. And I know you just had a new product launch yesterday. Yes. I would love for you to tell me more about it because it's supposed to be kind of a replacement for some of these medications that we're seeing for weight loss, correct?
Yeah. So essentially something that we kept hearing from our community was that they wanted something to help with their metabolism. And so this product took us a very long time to formulate. And I've been the personal guinea pig for 3 versions before we did before we like landed on the one we released essentially. And essentially the idea behind the product is to help with all things to do with our metabolism. So our metabolism is responsible for everything from obviously like just ensuring that our weight is like managed healthily. Also things like cholesterol, energy levels, blood glucose levels. So essentially MB1, it's from metabolic burn. And what it does is it helps with all of those things. So it helps with curbing cravings. It helps with energy levels. It helps with cholesterol. It helps with decreasing blood sugar spikes. So it helps with a myriad of these issues. The goal really is to ensure that people feel their best. So it's suitable for anyone who, you know, maybe was at one point considering GLP-1 medications or not, or is just wanting something to support their metabolism. At the end of the day, I think everyone needs a little bit of support with their metabolism. It's not just a weight issue. Like I really want to make that very crystal clear, because our metabolism is responsible for so much. It's responsible for how we show up on a day-to-day basis. And even things like, you know, having a slump in the middle of the day, or like having really crazy cravings for snacks, or like sugar cravings, all of those are linked to the metabolism. And so with a product that supports that, it just kind of helps deal with all of those issues that a lot of us deal with on a day-to-day basis.
Right. I've been reading this book about biohacking for women, and it's been super interesting just learning about like glucose spikes and regulating that and making sure our digestive system is set up for success.
Yes.
So I think having a product like that to integrate into your routine and your nutrition is so essential, because you know, we never really know if we're like going out to eat, like what we're going to be doing, what we're going to be eating.
Absolutely.
I think it's great to be prepared.
Yeah.
And just to make sure that we're like treating our bodies right. And
Exactly.
prepping it for just enjoying life. And
Totally.
I think that's great. But I would love to know what it's like working with your partner, because I saw the video yesterday of you guys with all of the signs around LA. I feel like that was probably such a surreal experience.
Yeah.
But I just loved just the pure joy on both of your faces. I thought it was so sweet just to see how far you guys have come in this journey together.
I mean, honestly, Veronica, like even so we had like these posters all over the city, and like in the morning when they like put it up, actually like Nish and I, like we all helped put it up, but like for fun. But we went there in the morning, and it was me, Nish, Nick. I don't know if you've met Nick from our team.
I haven't met Nick, but I've heard so much about him.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm obsessed.
Shocked because Nick and Claire are like
The personality hires.
And they're like obsessed with each other. It's very cute. So it's Nick, Alexa, who's our director of marketing, and then Claire. And just all five of us were just there, and we're like, we cannot believe that this is ours, you know, because yes, it's obviously, you know, like Nish and I are the co-founders, but none of this would be possible without every single person on our team. And everyone had such a strong part to play in like, you know, whatever Arrae is today. So like, I cannot take that away from like everyone who helped build it, because it's not just Nish and I, you know. I just want to make that very, very clear. Like, we give a lot of credit to our team. We are very lucky to work with the people that we work with. So, you know, for Nish and I, honestly, I love working with him, and I'm really lucky because I think when it comes to any sort of co-founder partnership, whether it's with your best friend or your husband or whoever it's with, I think it either works or it doesn't. And it works when you have complementary skill sets. So Nish covers my blind spots and vice versa. I can never do his job and he can never do my job. And so that's what makes us really good at what we do, because I trust him fully in his decision-making capabilities and vice versa. And I know that he's the best at what he does. So we have so much trust in each other, and like we just know that we are the best at like our jobs, you know, and like he knows that he doesn't need to do what I do and vice versa. So I love working with him. I think he's the smartest person that I know, and I'm really lucky to have him as a co-founder. So it's like brought us a lot closer together, and it's like, it's fun, you know, it's fun when you get to celebrate the highs and lows together.
Absolutely. I think that's so sweet. And it's really crazy to me because I've seen so many stories from entrepreneurs that are very successful that will talk about how it took them almost a decade to like actually see success. And Arrae is 4 years old. Is that correct?
Yeah.
It is so nuts to me how much success you guys have had in such a short amount of time. And I feel like everything you do is so streamlined.
Thank you.
And I just like want to know, for those young entrepreneurs out there, what advice would you give to them, like in their early beginnings, to make sure that they're set up for success and that they can avoid maybe some roadblocks that maybe you guys saw early on and kind of dodged? But I think it's really cool how you guys have just kind of like shot to the top, and it's been such a short amount of time. So yeah, what advice would you give to the young entrepreneurs out there?
So I actually did a TikTok video on the 5 tips I have for entrepreneurs in year 1 of their business, and it went very viral. So I can like pull from that, because these are like lessons that I kind of either have like applied with Arrae or like wish I had. So the first thing I think that everyone who wants to start a business needs to know is that you just need to go for it. The concept is launch fast and iterate. So I think a lot of people get stuck in this mentality of perfection where they're like, oh, you know, I'm just going to wait till it's perfect. And at the end of the day, like, if it's perfect, you've almost waited too long. Like if you go back and, I mean, I'm sure this is applicable to even yourself, right? But like you go back and listen to your first episode of the podcast you've ever done, or the first Instagram post you ever posted, it's shit.
Oh,
you know,
for sure.
Like, and it's not because you're shit. It's because that's just how it is. Like it improves the more you do it and the more feedback you get, right? Like
Definitely.
You figure out your voice, your niche based on like what you're seeing works, you know, and like what you're passionate about. So with a business, how I would translate that is, I'll give you a real life example, which is when we launched our product, or like when we got like the final version of the product, which was like boxed up and it had a label on it, we got the packaging and it was horrible. Like it was, there was a printing error. The color was off. It was a disaster. And we had the choice at that point to either go to market with that label and that box that we had, or start over, which would throw us off like 4 to 6 months. And we were like, we're just going to go to market with this. We didn't care that our boxes and labels looked like that. Like obviously it hurt a little bit, but we didn't care enough to be like, no, we're going to postpone the launch. And then also we didn't have enough money to like build out a fancy website. Did we care? No, because we knew that the most important thing was, obviously we were very proud of the product that we had created, like the actual product itself, right?
Which is the most important part.
The most important part. Everything else is like things that make the brand sexy. Don't worry about that shit at the beginning. Like just go to market, because you will get feedback and that will continue to be an iterative process. So as soon as we understood that like, okay, like this is a product that people actually like, they're resonating with. Okay, then we had a little bit of money to put into the website. So we redid the website. Then on our next packaging run, that's when we improved it. Then we changed our branding. You know, like it's been a very step-by-step approach. And I think that that is the thing that most people get stuck with, right? Like they either want a perfect product or they like second guess themselves. And like, if you have an idea, just do it. The other thing I think people think is, oh, it's already been done. Okay, if you've not found the product that you are looking for, that you're wanting to work on, even if it's been done, it's not been done well enough, because if it was there, then you would know about it. So if you think that you have a really unique idea and you're like, oh, but I think it's done. Okay, well, have you found that version? If not, then it doesn't exist as far as you're concerned. So go build it.
Right. And there's always a way to put your own spin on it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I feel like that, just like do that, you know, and then like put one foot in front of the other. Like I think people, when you're thinking of like, okay, like I have this idea in my brain and like, how do I even get it to the point where people are buying this thing and like I even have it in my hand, right? I know it feels really like daunting, because it feels like you're about to climb Everest and you're like right at the base, right? But you just put one foot in front of the other, you know? So you like literally do like, okay, like what's the first thing that I have to do? You know, is it finding someone who will make this product for me? Is it sourcing a manufacturer? Is it finding like, you know, a Shopify theme? Like what is it? So identify like step 1 and then do the next step. And, you know, you'll figure it out on the way. Like, I think what people need to realize is that entrepreneurship, you learn it on the job. I don't have a fancy business degree. I don't, neither does Nish. We figured it all out, and you can too. And just like, I think soaking up as many resources as people can and like learning from other people is really, really important.
I think it's great that you kind of started scrappy. And
oh my God, yeah.
I also think it's great that you guys have developed such a great team. What are your top tips for hiring? Because that's something that I honestly am kind of getting into now. And it's hard to know like who is a good hire? Do I do trials with them? What does this look like? How do I manage them? So what does that look like for you, and what's your process with that?
So your first hire should be a generalist versus a specialist, at least like if you're operating a business. So our first hire, Shosh, who is still with us, started as a summer intern, and she has done every job in the company. But when we hired her on, we understood like where she would want to be in a specialty role. So at the beginning, she was doing every job, just like Nish and I, right? Like, and I think Shosh is the one person in our business who's like served every function in the business. And that's because she was our first hire. So from there, like once you hire your generalist, they should be able to grow with the company. That means that, you know that like down the line, you're seeing a certain skill set of theirs, you know that you can put them in a specific position. That could be marketing for you, like this, or it could be like in social media. So Claire, when she started, is another really good example. She was our EA, and immediately the thing that I started to see was that she was really good at social. And so I was like, I wanted to bring her, or I wanted to promote her to social, right? And so that's exactly what I did. So when you hire a generalist and you start to see where they're like really shining, then you can put them in that position down the line. But the first couple of hires, I would say, have to be like pretty general and like kind of able to like do a lot of different functions. So that's number one. Number two is, I think protecting your company culture is the most important thing you can do. So like there's the saying, hire slow, fire fast. And we live by that, where we are really slow to hire people because we want to make sure that they really are the fit, like the right fit for our company. They like align with our values deeply. They understand our work ethic. They can get along with everyone, and I think the reason people say we have a strong team is because everyone is on a collective mission and everyone lifts each other up. Because we all know we have the same mission, it's not like if someone fucks up, everyone's like, oh my God, why'd you do that? It's more like, okay, it's fine. Like, let's fix it. Like, it's not your fault. It's okay. And you know what I mean? Like, there's no drama.
Like
Solution-oriented, because everyone knows that, okay, we're working towards a common thing. If someone stumbles, it's okay. It wasn't on purpose. It's not because someone chose not to put enough work into it or they were lazy. Like, there's none of that. There's no doubt on like any person on our team, right?
Right.
If you hire people who are like, I don't know, like really aligned with your values, then you don't have that doubt. And then there's like no drama,
right?
Right. And then in terms of what you said about the trial thing, so I think when you're going through an interview process, if it's like a position that requires performance, like quote unquote performance, as in like say it's a marketing position or it's a design position or events, then like have someone do a little project and you can pay them for that project, by the way, like pay them for an hour of their time and see what they're capable of, because what that'll do is it will show to people that like, or it'll show to you rather like what they're actually capable of versus talking about it.
Right.
Or like bring that into an interview. So when I hired our director of marketing, she didn't start off in that position, but I hired her on the marketing team. And so I remember, I think it was like in the interview that we did right before we hired her, like offered her the position, I did a case study with her during the interview where I was like, okay, we've just launched a new product. Tell me what you'd do. And she just like had this like whole idea of like how she would bring this product to market. And I was like, okay, she's clearly capable. She's not just like talking the talk. She like actually knows what to do. And
that's genius, because I think sometimes people will run into issues with new hires where they are kind of having to take steps back because they have to explain a bunch of things.
Yeah.
So I think having somebody complete a project with like minimal direction is a really good way to see what their work ethic is like.
Yeah.
So that's actually such a genius hack.
Yeah.
And I think people can really learn from that.
Absolutely. And then another thing is that you can bring someone on like a contract basis to see how they like gel with the team. And that way you can see on like a 3-month basis, like what their work ethic is like. And then you bring them on as a full-time employee as well. So like that's something that we've done in the past. Someone like Sarah on our team. Have you met Sarah?
Yeah. I actually know Sarah and her sister.
We go. Yeah. From Louisiana. Yeah.
Our blood runs thick.
Clearly. Well, Claire actually hired Sarah. So props to Claire. But when Sarah came on, she was on initially a 3-month contract. And like within the first like month and a half or 2 months, I think we were like, yep, this girl is like, she's meant to be on our team. And we offered her the position like 2 months in,
That's amazing.
Yeah. And like with people, what we really like to look for is like, do they have growth mindset, and are they able to pick up new skills? Because I understand that not everyone comes into a position like fully baked,
right?
But it's their ability to pick up new skills and be malleable, which is really important. So I think like that's also something that everyone should look for when they're hiring.
Definitely. I think that you are such a good example of somebody that stays really grounded among success.
Oh, thank you.
So what are your tips, tricks? What are some things that you do to like make sure that you stay grounded? I saw one of your TikToks, which by the way, you're blowing up. Oh. And I would love to talk more about how you have just developed such a great community within such a short amount of time on TikTok.
Thank you.
But I saw that like, you know, gossiping is out for 2024.
No.
Like no drama, like none of that. I think it's great that you create an environment like that for your team. And yeah, I think that you just like are super grounded, like given all the success that you've had over the last few years.
Thank you. That's very sweet. And I think like so much of who you are is like the environment that you're in as well. So I think those are just standards that I have for myself where I don't like I really take inventory of the people in my life and see like how they make me feel. And I'm very lucky to say that, you know, everyone in my life makes me feel really happy. They're my biggest cheerleaders. Like people have friends and they're secretly haters. I'm like, who has time for this? Why would you even like, what kind of friend is this? Like, what kind of friend are you if you're doing that? You know, like if like,
what are you gaining from that?
What are you gaining? And so, and that obviously stems from like whatever, like insecurity, jealousy, whatever.
Definitely.
But I don't have time for people like that. And so I think I've just been really intentional about the friends that I have and the relationships that I have, how I show up, how I expect people in my life to show up. And I think because those are my relationships, like where's the drama coming from? There's no source, you know? And so you stay grounded when your environment is positive. And like, also it's like, okay, what are your values? You know, like for me, what's important to me in life is like, I like to work hard. I like to care for my health. I like to do things that like genuinely bring me joy and fill my cup. Like those are things that keep me grounded, you know, like that's kind of what I do with my time. Like I'm not out here in the LA party scene. Like I have no, you know, I have no, like, there's no joy that comes to me from like social climbing or like proving something to someone. Like, no, I'm secure in myself and I'm just like happy doing my work and like knowing that I'm hopefully making a difference in people's lives. Like that's what fuels me.
Absolutely. I think when you surround yourself with positive people, it just overall brings so much joy to your life because we've all been in a situation with an emotional vampire where they're either complaining 24/7 or they're just super negative, and then it starts to cast on us and we start to feel really anxious or negative. And I think that's great that you've developed an environment like that for yourself. But I do want to talk about your TikTok fame. No, you're like literally a macro TikToker after just a short few months, right?
Oh my God, you're very sweet. Thank you.
Yeah. I've been loving your videos, and you've been doing like the hot girl habits and the high maintenance things that are worth it. And I thought it was just so amazing because every single time I see a video, I'm like, yes. Like
they're like so fun to make, honestly, because I think the thing I love about TikTok is like you don't have to like prep this like really pretty environment. Like there's not much prep that needs to be done. You just need to show up and like have something to say, and you just talk into the camera and you green screen it if you need to. Because for me, like TikTok is a creative outlet, you know? And so I need it to be quick and I need it to be enjoyable. That's how I like to produce content. And, you know, I feel like I have these like things that I want to share with my girlfriends, and I often do, you know? So I'm like, okay, like everyone on TikTok is like my like bestie. And I'm just going to share my tips and tricks. And so that's kind of how it started. And actually, it's funny. The first video I did that went really viral was how to look expensive. And that concept was actually like a thing by our team, because they were like, Siff, you always look so expensive. And it was like an internal joke. So I was like, okay, like I'll do a video on how to like get that look.
Yeah. Well, what are your tips?
Oh my God, I have so many. I have so
What's your favorite?
many. Okay, so I like really prioritize quality over quantity in my closet. So like you can see I'm like dressed pretty simple, right? Like literally
you look
like
incredible.
But it's like all like quality. So like I'm wearing like a nice pair of pants, like, you know, like these are things I can wear, like mix and match 1,000 times over. But also like I think accessories are really important. So keeping it simple and like having nice accessories, like that's, I would say, like one tip. Then another is like probably like, you know, ensuring that like your hair is nicely done, you know, because I feel like we all feel more confident with good hair.
Hair is like just the source of confidence.
Yes.
If
like
I have
hair
a blowout,
theory, oh my God.
oh my gosh,
game over.
I can take over the world.
Yes. Like give me a blowout and fresh nails and I'm ready. I'm ready for anything.
But yesterday I was walking around with dirty hair off the plane and I felt like shit.
I know. It really does something to you. I'm telling you,
really
like good
does.
hair. It's like a whole thing.
It does. It does. But I like love all of your series. I think that they're so incredible. And I think that you are a good example of somebody that works really hard and then treats themselves and doesn't feel guilty about it.
No.
Which I think is so important. We need to like celebrate our success. We need to celebrate ourselves. And I'd love to know like your top ways of like treating yourself, celebrating yourself, what's worth it, like all of that stuff.
So I think first and foremost, like having that mentality around like treating yourself, like why are you working? Like why are we living this life if we can't enjoy it? You know, like I love working, but like, yes, I like nice things and I like to celebrate wins as well. Like I like that's what makes life worth living. You know, it's like the balance. So I think in terms of like the little treats, like even yesterday, so we launched our new like MB wine, right? And it was like a very strong launch and we'd been working really, really hard on it. And Nish and I always have date night on Fridays, but our launch was on a Thursday. And so I have a restaurant booked for tonight, but like yesterday I was like, Nish, let's just go out for dinner and celebrate because I know we have dinner tomorrow, but fuck the dinner tomorrow. Like we'll go to that too, but like we need to like go and commemorate like what's happened today and like pat ourselves on the back and like just sit with the feeling because tomorrow comes and we have tomorrow's problems. So like let's just feel good about what happened today. Exactly. Yeah. So I think small things like that. And like you can do this even just with yourself, right? Like, I don't know, if something really big happens in your career, like go do something to like celebrate that. You know, it can be something as small as like going to get yourself like ice cream or like, I don't know, going out with friends that night or however you want to celebrate it. Then like for me, I like certain nice things. So like I know that like on my birthday, for example, like I always have like something that I'll get for myself. And then like we always try to like do trips to like celebrate certain milestones.
You guys do like the best trips, I feel like.
I love traveling. It's like my favorite thing. We're leaving on Thursday for 9 days for our next trip.
Where are you going?
We're going to Italy. I've
never been.
Excited.
I know.
I feel like you'd thrive.
Well, I'm half Greek, so I used to go to Greece every summer. I haven't been since before COVID, but
Wait, when are you going back? You need to go back.
I think I might go back this fall.
You should.
But I know.
Where in Greece are you from?
So my grandfather is from Athens, and my grandmother her family's from a small island in the Peloponnese called Tropea. So yeah, they like ended up in New York and had my dad, and then there's me.
You still need to go back. Like
I know. I need to plan a trip.
I told Claire to do a solo trip to Rome.
She should.
Yeah.
I feel like she would really thrive.
Or like
solo
the two
traveling.
of you guys should go, honestly. Like
I would really love to go to Italy. She actually recently reached out to me and she was like, hey, do you want to go to Rome? So
yeah.
I think you influenced her.
Honestly, you guys should. So like, I mean, that's like one of my favorite cities. So, and there's like something for everyone. That's why I love it. Cause like, I'm really obsessed with art history. It's like my favorite thing. And it's just interesting for me to like study that stuff. Cause I'm like, oh, like what can I apply to Arrae and like my business now, blah, blah, blah. So love the art and like just like general history in Rome. But then there's like, it's also so beautiful to walk around. The food is bomb. Like it's like they have such good shopping. Like there's something for everyone. Okay.
Absolutely.
So Italy is like, I'm so excited. And I feel like we're coming off a launch. Like it'll be fun to go.
For sure. So when you're traveling, do you have like a specific routine? I know you recently talked about this in a solo episode. So I'd love to just share the wealth because I need to know like all of the tips and tricks because I like got in yesterday and I am still recovering.
Yeah,
so.
I hear you. Honestly, flights are tough. I think the first thing is like with jet lag. So I use an app called Time Shifter to adjust to any sort of jet lag. Just makes sure that like it just kind of like circumvents like you feeling like horrific on a new time zone. So it kind of like tells you when to sleep and when to wake up and when to get sun exposure and when to stop caffeine intake a few days ahead of traveling. So that's really helpful. Trying to eat in the new time zone that you're in. So those are like things that I do like right away to like kind of circumvent jet lag and things like that. And then there's like tangible tips that you can do like right like when you land. So for example, for me, that's like making sure I'm double cleansing, making sure I'm wearing, like doing skincare right away, like no sunglasses to adjust to a new time zone. So things like that. And like movement is really important right away, because I feel like you're sitting on a plane for like however many hours and there's like no circulation. Right. And so I think walking is really important. So I feel like those are like just like general things. And then even when I'm traveling, I just want to make sure that like my steps are still like, up there.
Right.
If I'm going to like a more chill destination, like a beach or the mountains, I'll make sure that I'm working out. Like if I'm going to a city destination, we're walking like 20 to 25,000 steps, sometimes 30,000 steps. So I don't really like, there's no time to like do like a big workout then. But like if we're going to a more chill destination, I'll always make sure that I work out as well. Just like things that make me still feel really good. So when I come back from vacation, I'm not like, oh, like I feel like disgusting,
right.
But rather like, oh, I feel like really energized, and I was able to retain small things within my routine as well.
Yeah, no, I'm the same way. I always feel like I have to work out while I'm on vacation because I think that it's great for your lymphatic system, especially after being on a plane for so long, like you said. And yeah, just energizes you.
Absolutely.
And I think that's great. What kind of skincare do you use? Like, what's your favorite brands?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I would say like my two.
Your skin is glowing,
favorites.
By the way.
Thank you. I'm actually having a couple of like, I have like 2 pimples, which I'm like, what? Where'd this come from? But it's okay.
I literally can't even see them.
Thank you. Okay, that makes me feel a lot better. So in terms of favorite brands, Shani Darden and Jan Marini are like 2 favorites. Also, I just started using the Medicine line from Dr. Jason Diamond. He's unbelievable. Oh my gosh. Like, I mean, he's obviously like the best like facial plastic surgeon in North America, probably like maybe even the world, who's to say. But I went to get a facial at his like clinic the other day, and like it was an incredible facial, but also I like got products from the Medicine line, and it's really good so far. Like there's 2 products. One is a plasma, so it almost mimics like platelet rich plasma, but it's plasma. It's not from your own blood. And then the other is a Retin-A, and they both like really make you glowy, plump, and I trust anything he does. So
I saw that on your TikTok. You use that Dalba spray.
Oh my god, it's so good.
I have been using that for like 6 months. And
isn't it iconic?
I ran out like a week ago, and I just feel like I'm missing a limb.
It's so good. You like, I mean, I feel like it like makes your skin so dewy.
There's something about it that I've not seen in another skincare product.
No, it's really, really good. I like use it either as like a last step in the morning. So like right after my sunscreen before I apply makeup, and I feel like it makes you so glowy.
You don't even need to wear makeup.
I know, it's insane. Or like at the end of my skincare routine at night, like right before I'm sleeping, it just does something to your skin. Like it like wakes it up. It like gives you this glow. It's insane. I'm like, what is in here?
It's like literally from Amazon.
I
also,
know.
by the way, guys.
It's so inexpensive, but so freaking good.
It's
the white truffle that's in it.
Yes. I'm like, what is in this shit? It's
I know.
amazing.
It's so bomb. And then there's actually another skincare product. It's from the Dior Prestige line. This is like bougie ass, like expensive shit. But it's really good. So it's called Micro Wheel Serum, like Huille, like in French, oil. And it's made from like rose. And I remember the first time I applied it, like just like a streak on my hand, and our team was over and I showed them and I was like, you guys see the difference too. It looked like that part had been like face tuned.
Whoa.
Like it looked like that was like smoothed. Like just that one line. It was really wild. And so then I started to use it on my face, and it's really good. And I was talking to the Dior team recently, and even it helps with things like sunburn and stuff. So it's a good product. It's really expensive, but I think I'll keep buying it because it's really good.
That's incredible. Yeah. Speaking of Dior, you guys just went to Paris.
Yeah.
And you launched at the Dior Spa.
Yeah, so we actually launched there back in December, but I went back there. I had a few meetings and whatnot. So yeah, if anyone is in Paris, we
I'm going July 17th.
Are you really?
Yeah, I'll stop in.
Oh my gosh, please do. So it's at the Dior Spa at Plaza Athénée. You should go get a massage, and it's like
I will.
It is insane. Like that spa is crazy. Like
it looks beautiful.
It's stunning. They've done such a good job. So you can get a massage, like whatever treatment you want, and then after that, you can get a bloat latte. Isn't that fun?
Oh my gosh, that is so fun.
Yeah, so
I
it's
love
on
my
the
bloat
menu.
lattes.
Oh, so good. It's
They're
like
so good.
calming. So anyway, you can get that. Yeah, you can find Arrae at the Dior Spa as well, which is really exciting.
That's crazy.
It really is. It's like very surreal.
I like cannot believe that. That's amazing. I'm going with two friends, childhood friends,
Yeah.
and I know that they're going to want to join me. So we'll have to go. And I'm kind of nervous because the Olympics are the week after. So I think it's going to be a little chaotic, but
maybe a little bit, it's just soak up the chaos.
exactly. And then I'm going to go to the south of France. I'm going to live my best life. So if you have Rex for me,
Wait, where in south of France are you going?
We're going to Nice, and then we're going to... Where are we going? We're going to Saint Tropez.
So fun. We were there last summer.
I'm excited.
You're gonna have a good time.
And
From Nice, go in Cannes. There's obviously La Garite, which is like their really famous beach club. Definitely do that. I feel like it's really fun.
Yeah,
you should do that. Like book that for lunch. Book it in advance because it's busy.
We don't really have a plan. We're kind of just like,
girl, you have to book all the beach clubs because they get really packed.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah, so do La Garite. That's really fun. So last year we went and we were at La Garite with a couple of friends, and Michael Jordan was a few tables down.
No way.
It's so funny. There's this like viral video on like, one of those like Barstool or one of those accounts, and it's like someone did like a Chicago Bulls. Oh, they sent, I think, like table service to Michael Jordan. It was like all Chicago Bulls. And like Nish and I are in the background, like looking like deer in headlights. It's so funny.
Oh my gosh. What an experience. I feel like you probably see some crazy stuff there.
Yeah, it's like a fun place.
Yeah.
Like, it's really like adult Disneyland, I would say.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait.
Yeah, you're gonna have a good time. You're gonna have such
I'm a little nervous for myself. I'm gonna have to keep it together. But going back to workouts real quick, I would love to know what workouts you're loving right now, because I feel like I'm in this era of like only doing specific workouts, and I would love to know what you're doing.
So I've been obsessed with weightlifting for many moons now. So I weightlift 3 times a week with a trainer, and then I do either basically I work out either 5 or 6 days a week. I'm working out 5 days of the week. Then I do 3 days weightlifting, 1 day Pilates, 1 day cardio. And then like that'll usually be like HIIT or some sort of like, high intensity training. But it's like gamified, like my gym makes it really fun. And then the other, like if I am working out a 6th day, then that 6th day will also be some form of cardio. And that'll be like maybe like a little bit more sustained. Like either it's like kind of zone 2 training basically.
Right.
So yeah, like that's kind of what I do. And then I walk also a ton. I try to do 12,000 steps a day. I've been doing that actually since we got back from Paris, because we were there and I was like, damn, it's so easy to walk and I feel so good. So I was like 12,000 steps every day. And so that became a thing.
That's a good goal.
Yeah. So I've been doing it every day since we got back from Paris, which was in April. So
yeah,
I've been very proud of myself.
Good for you. Learning to drive, getting 12,000 steps a day. That was so funny. You coming into the studio, I had to park your car for you.
So I don't know how to
everything
parallel
else
park.
you did was amazing.
Well, okay. I know how to, I just can't parallel park yet. So, I mean, to be fair, I'm like brand new, and they don't teach you how to parallel park in driving school, by the way, because it's now illegal because everyone was bumping into like, passerbyers' cars.
Is that why?
Yes.
Wow.
And the DMV didn't want to take responsibility for that anymore. So I'm
like, we're not liable for this.
Yeah. They were like, fuck this. So you don't do that, and they don't take you onto the freeway either. So
what?
Yeah.
I feel like that's the scariest part, is merging onto the interstate or freeway or highway, whatever.
I had like my instructor like just do it with me for fun, but it's not on my test. So I'm like not confident doing the freeway thing yet. Good for everything outside of right now, parallel parking and freeway driving.
Well, I, for one, am very proud of you. I mean, I feel like you've learned in a very short amount of time.
Well, I mean,
you're a doer.
I try, man. Like I really, listen, you can't live in LA without a car. You don't even understand. Like when Claire was my EA, she was also like driving me around everywhere. Then Mackenzie is my current EA. Like, I think she got so sick of me. Probably this poor girl is like an angel, never said anything. But most importantly, I think Nish was really tired of me because I'd be like somewhere and be like, come get me. And he's like, Siff, you need to get your license. So anyway, we're here now. I'm out on the town on my own.
Out on the streets.
Out on the streets of LA. No one can stop me. It's very exciting.
I love that. Well, I have one last question for you.
Hit me.
So I feel like this kind of goes hand in hand with traveling and, our martinis here with the Arrae products. But if you were to drink a martini in a bikini, where would you be and what would you be drinking?
Okay, you want to know something that's like, you'll probably hate me?
No, I won't hate you.
Okay, I've never had a martini.
Ever. Like no espresso martini,
Oh,
no
espresso
dirty martini.
Espresso martini, obviously. But I've just never done one with an olive.
I see.
But
Are you not into olives?
No, I freaking love olives.
Wait, we need to get you a dirty martini.
I should probably do maybe tonight.
Yes.
But okay, it would be an espresso martini because that's usually that with tequila though. So that's my drink of choice. Typically that or like a skinny marg. So I would do an espresso martini. Ooh. And then in a bikini, you said, right?
Yes.
Okay, so if I were in a bikini,
where would you be?
I would honestly be on one of the beaches in Greece, I would say.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
A girl after my own heart.
Exactly, right? I was like, I knew you'd like that answer. But truly, like, I think you guys have the best beaches.
Yeah, they're really cool. They're very different too.
They're beautiful. Like, the water is clear and it's like bath water. It's my favorite.
And the best part about the Mediterranean is there's no sharks.
There's
Apparently.
nothing. No, like no sharks. Like I barely even see fish.
I know.
Okay, and it's not like that in every other place because we've now done like beaches and like all over Europe essentially, but still like our favorite beaches are Greece. So
oh my gosh.
yeah.
Well, you'll have to go back.
Yeah.
And maybe I'll be there. Who knows?
Yes, honestly, please.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for coming on, Siff. This was so fun. I feel like I learned so much. And I was just truly so excited for this because I knew that I was going to learn a ton from you. And you are so inspiring to me. And I love what you guys are doing and just what you're doing on your own personal brand as well. So thank you so much.
You're so sweet. And also you're a fantastic interviewer.
Oh my God.
Yeah, such a good interviewer. Yes, you're really good.
Hey, coming from you, I'm like literally going to tear up. That's crazy. I am honored. And yeah, I would love for you to share how people can find you, how they can be friends, and how they can connect, how they can purchase Arrae, all the good things.
So Arrae, you can shop us at arrae.com or follow us on social at arrae.co. I'm Siff Haider on all social media platforms, and you can follow my podcast, the Dream Bigger Podcast, wherever podcasts are found.
Yay. Well, cheers. This was so fun.
So fun.
Yum.
So good. This was a good idea. I'm going to do this with all my podcast interviews too.
Oh, good idea. A little Aperol for the summer. Well, if you guys like this episode, please feel free to like, rate, and subscribe to Martinis and Bikinis on Spotify or Apple Podcast. I'll love you forever, and I'll see you next week. Cheers.